Shout out to everybody out there that's tuning in. I want to make sure y'all can hear me loud and clear. We're broadcasting live from the trap. And this is definitely our Independent Women Week. Shout out to everybody out there. So I want y'all all to know that it's official. We definitely have the one and only Julian Coleman on the air. And I'm so happy. So far this week, we've had an author who's on Tuesday's edition. Shout out to Black Rose. We had an activist and author who was definitely in the building yesterday on Wednesday. And now we have another author on the air. So, I'm just really impressed by all the ladies that we've had this week. And I'm pretty sure I'm about to get impressed again. So, I definitely would like to introduce no other than yours truly. And believe me, everybody out there, you're going to want to purchase these books. Julian Coleman, you're on the air live. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? How is everyone?
We're doing well. It's been a long day, but we're here and we're excited that you're on the air with us, and the ratings are looking wonderful. And I will tell you, everybody's really excited about all the ladies that we've had on the air this week, and they're loving every aspect of this. So, are you excited to be here with us today?
Yes, I'm very excited. And I'm glad that you're hosting for the women.
Look, this is all us. We need to support each other. And so this is something that, it kicked off this week. And everybody, the women have received phenomenal ratings this week. So I'm just thankful that you're on the show with me today. And that, you still was like, look, after everything I had to do today, I'm going to be here. So thank you.
Thank you.
So can you introduce yourself to the audience and the listeners out there?
I am a writer. I've been a horror writer for a short time, but I've been writing for a long time. I'm an indie writer, so I'm one of the ones who are trying to get a foothold in the industry that is pretty much saturated. But the thing is with writing is that you meet other writers and that you share with them and that you grow with them. So it has been a wonderful experience for me just to extend my creativity out and offer advice to others who are struggling along with me. It's sort of like a camaraderie that you're going at it and you're not alone. So it's been great.
Okay, well that's definitely something good, and I'm hoping that everybody out there, they're tuning in, they're taking some notes, because we've learned something different from each person I've had on the air every day. So what is your transition like? What is the transition like from going from writing horror to writing, I would say, mystery, or just going a different route? Because you're in a transition currently, correct?
Well, I suffer from nightmares.
Okay.
And I've always suffered from nightmares. And I think that, I know it's going to sound strange, but I think it's a hormonal thing that is in my family. Mm-hmm. So we all sit and share our dreams and our nightmares. And it's wild because we seem to have similar situations in them. So for me to get a handle on those nightmares, I felt like I had to write about them. So I grew up Catholic, very strict environment, and of course, naturally, I dreamt of demons. Mm-hmm. So it was easy for me to write what I saw. Right. And even to this day, I will have nightmares where I'm shuddering or stifling a scream, and I have plenty of material. And one of the things that I found is when I connected with my Twitter followers and asked them to share their nightmares with me, they were more than happy to share some of their own dreams and nightmares. And it's been a very eye-opening experience.
That's really interesting that you said that you suffer from nightmares, because that's something that a lot of people do struggle with, but they don't want to talk about it because of embarrassment, because of fear. And a lot of people play it off like, well, it's just a dream, but your dreams can influence a lot of things that take place in your life. So I think that's something good that you're using it as an outlet, you're writing, to kind of get a handle on that. So I
always say, Victoria, I always say that if someone said that she died peacefully in her sleep, I was like, don't believe it.
Wow. That's so, basically when you write, these are things that are taking place in your dreams, and so you're putting your dreams into a reality.
Yes.
So that's deep. That's really amazing, and I actually like that. I know you told me, you said, oh, don't let my website scare you. No, I thought your website was actually really cool. So
thank you.
That's definitely, I appreciate it. So where do you reside? Are you on the East Coast, West Coast?
I live in Richmond, Virginia, which technically is in the eastern part of the United States, but it's very southern.
Right. Is that where you grew up?
Yes.
Okay. So that's, you had the down south thing going on. And
I have to say that for me, because I wrote the Cesar trilogy, which is the Demon Lovers Chronicles, and I actually had the chance to go to New Orleans, where if you follow any writers who write like I do about vampires and demons, that is sort of like the Mecca. And if you go down to New Orleans, you can feel the atmosphere and understand why it has that draw, that pull, that aura. So I don't know if I did take this haunted tour, the midnight tour, and I visited all the haunted places. And I don't know if it's because the graves are above ground, or I don't know if because of the mystique of the past with the voodoo and everything, but it still is a very vibrant, you cannot walk through New Orleans without feeling it. And it just inspires your creativity, I think.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. That's something very interesting. It reminds you also, what's the name of the show that came on? It just went off on HBO, and that was my show, True Blood. They're in New Orleans as well, correct or no?
Yes.
Okay, True Blood. We had The Skeleton Key. That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
And so a lot of these movies I definitely I love Supernatural. Are you a Supernatural fan?
Yes, I do.
Okay, see, that's why I told you the website was on point. Okay, I watch all of that stuff. So I'm not a big Twilight fan. I like it, but I could pass. Not a big Twilight, but all of that, True Blood, Skeleton Key, Supernatural, big fan. I wasn't a big Smallville fan, but all of the mysterious and horror things, I love it. Okay? So, outside of writing, what other type of work do you do?
Well, my bread and butter job is I'm an analyst for the government.
Okay.
So I take raw data, crunch it, create reports, look at trends, do analysis, and it's very it doesn't inspire any kind of creativity, so I can save that up for my actual writing.
Right. Okay. So when you're at work, let me just ask you, because sometimes this happens with me. When you're at work, are you like, okay, I need to hurry and get this done so I can start working on some more material? Like, how does that balance out in your day?
I don't really think about my writing at work. What I do is I think about it when I walk my dog, if that makes any sense. My dog, Cher, is my muse. So even though we have a love-hate relationship, she sort of calms me down, and it's the sort of easy pattern when we're walking that sort of lulls me into thinking about other things. My mind is completely drained or empty, and just the easy pattern that we're walking sort of fills me with what ifs, and if this happens, then what will happen at the next point.
Okay. Now, with you being a horror writer, and this is like, I really love this, and I'm just like, this excites me. Okay, who are your favorite authors?
I have many. Um, when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, but we did have a lot of books. So I started basically with comic books. I had an uncle who was in the service, and he would come back with trunks of comic books. So I read all the Superman, the X-Men, the Avengers, and I was very delighted when they started showing up on the screen. But as I got older, I started reading, naturally, Stephen King, who I've been compared to, which makes sense because I read him. He basically taught me how to write.
Okay.
And Anne Rice, I read her interview with the vampire in one day. And then as I grew older, I sort of felt like me and Toni Morrison sort of wrote the same way, and she has sort of that paranormal theme running through her characters and her plots too, which I love. And I have to say, Alice Walker too. I think I read The Color Purple in one day, and it was one of those books that, even though it wasn't the paranormal horror sort of genre, it was horrible in the way that the main character lived her life and all the things that she went through. But the main point of that was that she overcame. And I hated when that book ended. So I've always read.
Okay. Well, that's good. You named some of my classics too. So we love the same things. And okay, there was a point in time where, like, it was a struggle for a lot of women. I know back, I'm going to say, even in the 1920s, it was a struggle for women to write. Especially with you writing horror. And a lot of times women would have to write under an alias, or they would face different challenges or different obstacles. Have you faced any challenges or obstacles in your writing career?
Well, I do write under an alias. Julian Coleman is my alias, but only because it was my way of honoring my grandmothers. I have a grandma Julia who passed and a grandma Coleman. So I just took a piece of both names and created Julian Coleman, but not because I wanted to have the alias to hide behind, but just because I wanted to honor them, because in no way am I the woman that they were. I could not have endured the struggles that they did. And so I think of myself as a woman standing on their shoulders.
Okay. That's really nice. That's really nice and well put. So that's great. See, I told you was going to have an amazing interview. So, okay, your books, Really Share and Rise of the Priestess. Those are two books. They're available on Amazon. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Well, Really Share is basically a different genre completely. It is my relationship with my dog, who was actually a rescue dog. So I got her sight unseen, and almost regretted it immediately. It's been a love-hate relationship. She loves me and she hates me with the same intensity. And I have to say that I feel the same way. But if anything ever happened to her, I will actually fall to pieces. So I wrote that as a whim, as something different. And it wrote itself pretty quickly. I would say in about 4 weeks.
Okay.
I had a wealth of information to pull from. I didn't even have to think about it because it was just there in my face, wagging its tail in my face.
That's cool.
And,
okay.
The Rise of the Priestess is actually the tail end of the Demon Chronicles. So the first one was Cesar, and the second one was Cesar's Revenge. So the Rise of the Priestess is the very last of the trilogy.
Okay. Now, what can readers expect to find out in the Rise of the Priestess?
Well, the main character sort of inherited a curse. I mean, she's rich, she's beautiful, she's a surgeon, she's very talented, but she's also a hybrid. She's
Okay.
vampire, human,
Right.
zombie, and she's living under the shadow of fear. And she wants more than anything, of course, is to be normal. But there are others who want her to step up to save them, and she's fighting that with everything that she has.
Wow, that sounds really good. That's these both of them sound really amazing because I'm a dog lover, and I had a dog where me and her had a love-hate relationship as well. So really shared that's interesting. And Rise of the Priestess, just the cover of it just looks so interesting.
Thank you.
Very interesting. So I see that the prices are very affordable. They're like $2.99, very affordable. Like, why did you make them so affordable on Amazon?
I'm trying to gain an audience, and actually, I might even make Cesar the Funnel book just so that I can gain more readers. And
Okay.
so the first one will be in a few days free, and then I will offer an invite for the second one to be free if the reader will sign on my mailing list.
Okay.
I have another trilogy that will be coming out early next year, so I'm ready to push those books forward and concentrate fully on the next trilogy.
Okay, so how can they get on your mailing list? What's the process?
They can join my website. It's and it says mailing list, and it's www.juliancoleman.net.
Okay. So everybody out there that's tuning in, and we do have a live audience, and the ratings are really nice. Go join that mailing list because I might be giving out a special something for the first 5 people that join. So I would like for y'all to get on there, join, check it out, and support our women this week. We're having so many great women on here that have done so many great things, and we all need to support each other. So there's a lot of women that are also tuned in. Go and join the mailing list. So, we'll have that said again in the show, and you go join it and cop some of these books. That'll be really great. So what do you want the readers to gain, or what do you hope that they gain after reading Really Share A Rise of the Priestess or any of your books that you have?
I just want them to be entertained.
Okay.
I just want them to enjoy the books, and I'm not afraid of any kind of criticism. But I wanted to make sure that my characters were living, breathing, likable. I mean, if you don't like the characters, I don't care how wonderful the plot is, you're not going to care. So when I write my characters, I try to make them as human, as flawed, as likable as possible.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, and so why do you want to make your characters believable, or why do you want them to come alive? Is there a part of you that want the audience to be able to relate, or what's your purpose for that as a writer?
Well, I think if you do that, it's sort of a lure to turn the page.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, if you you don't care whether or not they win the girl, they win the guy, they fought the war, they won the war or lost the war.
Okay.
So and I think it's another way for someone to say, yes, I can identify with that person. And as a writer, I find people fascinating. And I think I'm probably one of the few people who like to go to some place like King's Dominion or a fair and just people watch, because I find people fascinating.
Okay. And that's definitely that encourages also the writing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so how has your life changed since writing and publishing the books?
I've been writing for a long time. And not necessarily books, but I've been writing since I was 10. I used to keep journals and diaries and things like that. So my life really hasn't changed.
Okay. When people come to you and they find out that you are a writer, how do they normally respond, or that you've written these series of books? What is their response?
Usually, other writers ask for advice, or what we do is we try very hard to keep in touch with each other, to share ideas, to commiserate, to see what's working for them and what's working for us, and just bond. It's been great.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you get a lot of great support too, because
yes, absolutely.
These books, they just seem really amazing, and I can't wait to just dig in to really share in Rise of the Priestess. I wanted to read all of the series. Like, I don't want to just start off with that, because this seems like a really interesting plot. And for everybody out there, the books are at a really, really, really great and reasonable price.
Okay, and I have to say that the vampire books, the vampire demon books, are for mature audiences. So there is some strong content there.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure all the guests out there, we definitely can't wait to really read those books now. That sounds real good. Okay, so what advice do you have for other females out there that want to write and really don't know how to go about the process, or they might want to publish a book but they're not really sure about it? What do you have to tell people?
I was giving up a couple years ago because it was just trying hard to make a crack in it. And I was coming across the bridge, and Steve Harvey came on the radio. It was late at night. And he said, basically, if you have a dream that's worth holding on to, do not quit. He said that it might take everything you have, and you might even give up sleep, but do not let that dream go. It's yours for a reason. And so it was the right message for me at the right time. I would have been surprised if he hadn't said Jackie, because it felt like he was talking to Julian Coleman at the time. So
wow, and that's right. So I definitely agree with that, and I definitely support you and just everything that you're doing. And we need so many more females out here that are doing so many positive things like yourself. Definitely. So how can people find you?
Facebook is Julian Coleman, Julian M. Coleman 1. Twitter, Julian M. Coleman. I just started Instagram and Pinterest, but if you find me, it's on juliancoleman.net. It's all there.
Okay. All right. So that's definitely a great thing to know. And do you want to leave us with some final words?
I can only say what Steve Harvey said. If you have a dream, hug it, hold it, nurture it, pursue it. Don't let anyone take it away from you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being a guest on the air. And I'm so happy that, you definitely came through and we had a chance to talk and just chat up, and everything is going to be available for replay. So anybody out there, if you're tuning in and you missed any part of the interview, please go back and listen to the full interview. It was an amazing interview and experience, and I'm just so happy that you were on the air with us and you're available tonight. I know it's late and you got to get up early tomorrow, but thank you.
Tori, thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. And thank you all out there for listening to me.
Thank you. You have a wonderful night and get some rest, and I can't wait for those books.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you.